Welcome to this special video about the form Gum Hyung, which just means knife form. So before I go forward, I'd just like to say that even though my system does a limited amount of knife defense, I am not an expert in knife defense, and I hope that I never have to deal with a knife in real life. I often tell my students that the reason we start training with weapons is to heighten the realism of the situation and how all your techniques must work hand to hand. So if they work with a weapon in class training, then they'll work hand to hand. But weapon training is a very touchy subject, so I want you to say that this is my interpretation of a weapon form that I love, that I feel has some application principles. So the way I've tried to do it, all the moves are done very slowly with my partner showing no resistance. So just to let that know, because we just wanted to show you the moves. And what we do is we show knife against knife, knife against an object, I'm using a very small umbrella, knife against hand, and then hand against hand, to show that the principles of the moves could be worked in multiple situations, and the knife is just a tool to show us how to move. So from the form, I've highlighted 8 sequences. The first sequence is the opening move, where you chunbi, this is catching the wrist, pull the wrist back as you go into your back stance, put the palm strike into the elbow, and then cut or elbow to the face as you move past your opponent. The second sequence now is where you go from the reverse cut into a kick, into an in-to-out slash and an out-to-in slash, and this is moving around the body, lifting your hands up, pushing out the way to kick. The kick will now be to the knee as a distraction, and then you cut into the neck and whatever's available, chest, neck, as you move past. But you're always trying to get past to run away as quickly as you can. The third sequence now is where you do the slow cut up the middle, and what I imagine this is the line of the sternum, trying to cut up through there. If it's successful, brilliant, happy days. If they block it with their spare hand as you trap their hand, you're then going to quickly turn and cut across a horizontal strike instead of a vertical strike, and this explains the turn and cut in the form. The next sequence is the double jump, and again, if you can pin the arm, grab the arm and stab, that's going to work. If they block it, you spin the other way and stab the other side or hit with the object you have. The next sequence is the 3 stances, 3 angles drill. So what I'm seeing this as pass, parry, pin, strike. If for some reason they block it, you then cut back into a back stance and stab to the ribs. If they block that, you pin both arms and stab either to the throat or to the solar plexus. The next sequence now is where you flip the knife, and this is if they, while you're cutting up with that slow vertical cut, they grab your wrist. You're then going to flip the knife, come back and cut whatever available, the one hand, the other wrist, and then you're going to strip the blade as you stab right into the throat. The next sequence now is where you step back, catching the arm and cutting the wrist. This should make them drop the weapon that they have in their hand, and then you can use the spare hand to punch or push, and then you're clear for a stab. The 7th sequence now is where you do the multiple stabs, and this is going middle, high, spin, high, middle, or middle, high. And what this does is it gives you lots of options for hitting high or low, meaning they can't block all. So it's a very simple technique, and it's just showing that you can cut around and take multiple angles. And the last technique is what I always think in these situations is, if in doubt, always kick. So you're going to do a very similar thing. Before stab, they block, and instead of doing another stab, now you're going to do a spinning back kick away from the blade. So a few points to talk about is, if they have a weapon on them, always remove the weapon. That is a very good principle to have, is to step away as quickly as possible and eject. And again, I can't say this enough, but all this is my interpretation of the form. It's not saying that the form is designed this way, but I think that all forms should have applications. If you know more about this form, if you do knife forms that have applications, please share with me, because I I've always loved this knife form from a very young age, and it's just something that I've looked into, tinkered and toyed with over the years. Thank you for watching, and if you like videos like this, maybe I'll do another one about another weapon form. Thanks.